This isn't on your bucket list, you should put it on your bucket list. Today we are diving into one of the world's most historic coastlines, from the battle-scarred sands of Dunkirk to the legendary Normandy beaches, and finally to Mont Saint Michel's fortress. These places shaped history. Let's unlock their stories. We have just parked the van here in Dunkirk. If you don't know the story behind the beach, watch the movie Dunkirk. I think most of you will know because it's quite an incredible story.
During World War II in 1940, the Allied troops were surrounded in Dunkirk, so they needed to evacuate, and they managed to get 338,000 soldiers out of here from this beach with the help of the British government and civilians who came with their pleasure yachts and their fishing boats and all kinds of small little boats and just saving people.
They were hoping to get 30,000 out and they managed to get over 300,000. Just absolutely incredible. We watched the movie last night. I'd already seen it a couple of times, but Josie had never seen it. Brought a tear to your eye, as I'm sure it will to a lot of people. It's an incredible story. It is emotional, and it just shows the power and the will that people, even if you were a soldier or not, had during that time. Seems to be quite a few people. Metal detectors. Sure, some crazy stuff has been found here on this beach. This is where they were standing, getting bombed by aeroplanes, where the aeroplanes were diving in on them, where boats were sinking all around them, where they were all just wanting to go home.
Waiting to be saved.
This is it. The story goes, and a bit of a spoiler alert if you haven't seen the movie, the large destroyers that were coming to save all of the Brits and take them home were being sunk on the pier. More boats were actually able to come all the way up to the beach and get people on board from the beach so that they didn't just have to get on from the pier, which was getting bombed heavily. Without the civilians, I don't know how many people would have made it home. If you know, leave a comment. This feels emotional. We've been walking for a few minutes.
Very, very wide.
And we're walking just straight towards the water, and it's still quite a way away.
They made like a makeshift pier out of military vehicles on the beach, like here. And then the tide came up to the roof of the vehicles. Ooh, it's a bit wet now. So the high tide goes up all the way up there. You can see where it's a bit darker. And the water is right now all the way down there.
You can step on the sand bit there. You make it or not?
I think so.
Don't splash.
Hold my pants up.
Yep.
It's a lot softer than it looks. Big jump. Big jump.
Still dry, still dry.
My foot's soaking wet.
The section that we're at, the architecture seems a lot more modern than it would have been back in the day. As we were walking along the promenade, we saw this little street that had really cute houses and buildings just off it. So we decided to walk down that street, and I get the feeling that this is probably more what it was like.
Yeah, and it looks like the part where one of the main characters was running through at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
Being shot at by the Nazis. There are a few other things you can do in Dunkirk, including a museum about Operation Dynamo, that they called it, the evacuation of Dunkirk. We are going to skip out on this time though, because we were just at a war museum about the 101st Airborne Brigade in Bastogne.
Seriously, absolutely incredible. Downstairs they have like a bomb shelter where you feel like you were there during the war.
Now it's time to head back to the van and head along the coast down to Mont Saint Michel.
So Josie asked me what I wanted for breakfast, and I said a lot of things. I said salami, cheese, lettuce, tomato, onion, pesto, chicken paste, and she's made it all. Thank you.
By the way, it's so good. I love it. Obsessed with this stuff.
It was all a joke, but that is actually absolutely delicious.
So there's been a slight change of plans, because when we looked up the route to go to Mont Saint Michel from where we were, it only showed either toll road or going through a green zone. And we can't go through the green zone, and we don't want to go on the toll roads because it can be very, very expensive. Now decided to go to the beaches of Normandy where D-Day happened. We found a good spot to stay for the night for free, really close to one of the beaches. And then we'll go explore that in the morning.
The good thing about not taking the freeway is that we're going through all these tiny, beautiful little villages, and on these small little rural roads, just farms on each side of us. It's stunning.
Hopla.
Stop.
Oh, it's red.
Oh. Stopped just in time.
You can't even see the closest one.
It was green as we were pulling up, but then it turned red, like, out of nowhere.
And we got a truck just behind us, very close.
Well, we have made it here to Normandy.
Yeah, we're at Juno Beach, which is one of 5 beaches where the Allies stepped on land during D-Day. There's Utah, Omaha, Sword, Gold, and Juno.
This one here is where all the Canadians and the Brits came in. So the whole region of Normandy is where a lot of the boats came in on land, and it's also where the paratroopers came in from. They all jumped out of the aeroplanes under extreme heavy fire and landed all over this region. If you want to watch a really, really good series about the paratroopers and the 101st Airborne, make sure to check Band of Brothers. It's on Netflix, depending on your location. Incredible story. We were watching it when we were in Bastogne, and when they landed here in Normandy, they actually made their way to Bastogne, and that's where they had one of the biggest battles there. You can really tell what an impact Canada had here in this city. They've got flags everywhere from all the countries that helped liberate them, but the Canadian flags are absolutely everywhere, even 80 years after the war.
We have now arrived here at Omaha Beach, also nicknamed Bloody Omaha because of all the casualties that they had here. This was the beach that had the most casualties during D-Day, and it was mostly due to these hills up here where the Germans made camp and had a clear sight down onto the beach where they could shoot.
There are heaps of movies about D-Day and Omaha Beach, but if you want to see the one that was voted as the #1 most realistic movie as voted by the veterans, make sure to check out Saving Private Ryan if you haven't seen it already. Fantastic film, and it really shows exactly what happened here on Omaha Beach. So this whole coast around here, as you can see, all has the hills. Along the sands of Omaha Beach, memorials stand in tribute to the bravery of those who fought here in World War II. These monuments honour the fallen soldiers who sacrificed everything for freedom. Just a few kilometres down the road, overlooking Omaha Beach, lies the Normandy American Cemetery, the final resting place for thousands of American soldiers who gave up their lives on D-Day. Here, a museum preserves their legacy, with a cinema room showcasing a powerful short documentary and plaques detailing the strategies that led to victory over the Nazis. This sacred place ensures their stories and their sacrifice are never forgotten.
Regarde là-bas. Est-ce que tu nous vois? C'est difficile à dire.
So this region here, Normandy, is very well known for their apples and their apple cider. So we're going to make a dish today with the apple cider. This is the cider. We actually got this here from the supermarket, but they have lots of little farm shops at farms where they produce the cider and apple juice and all these kind of apple products, where you can buy it straight from the producer. I was looking a lot for a recipe that is suitable to make in the van. We can't have something in the stove for 12 hours here. It's chicken thighs with apples, onions, leek, thyme, cider, and cream. And then we have some boiled potatoes with it.
Traditional Normandy meal.
Cider makes it a bit sweet, but also tangy. It's really nice.
Very good. There's our band. There's Josie. There is Mont Saint Michel.
We've now moved to the spot we originally wanted to go to, but it was full last night. And we are much closer to the Mont Saint Michel. How'd you go?
Good.
Yeah.
Got some drone shots.
Some nice ones?
Yes, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's hard not to get nice shots of that place.
As this place offers their car park to travellers absolutely free, it's only right to purchase something to say thank you. It also makes for a pretty cool souvenir. This isn't on your bucket list, you should put it on your bucket list. We have finally made it to Mont Saint Michel, the second most visited location in all of France.
Yeah, and we're following in the footsteps of millions of pilgrims coming here for centuries.
Let's follow those steps.
is one of the oldest buildings in the town. It's from the 15th century.
It's currently low tide, but this can raise massively. Now when it is low tide, you are actually able to walk through the sand, but they recommend that you only do it with a tour guide because it can become like quicksand, you can get stuck, and people have died even actually quite recently. So keep that in mind, don't do it by yourself. I'm gonna come back with the drone later and get some high tide shots so that you can see the difference. This is just absolutely beautiful.
Behind me is from the 8th century and it's built in Gothic style. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and it's 13 euros to enter. And if you want to help us afford to go into places like this, you can visit our website and buy some hats or hoodies or something.
During the 100-year War, these walls here that fortified the town were able to withstand a siege of up to 30 years. We are currently here in mid-season and it is still super packed with people. You are able to stay at hotels that are here on the island if you wish to. There are only 20 residents living here and a small community of cats too. Two things that you will not be short of if you visit Mont Saint Michel is restaurants and souvenir shops.
And beautiful views.
Yeah. And I have to say that considering where we are and how remote it is, I'm extremely surprised. Prices are reasonably affordable. Agreed?
Yeah, you can get a whole menu there, like 3 course for $27.50.
Yeah, where would you get that?
Sweden.
Not in Sweden. Here in Mont Saint Michel, local lamb is a true delicacy. As the lambs spend much of their lives grazing on the salt meadows, this diet gives the meat a distinctive and unrivaled taste, drawing meat lovers from all over the world. And a Captain Jack Sparrow gun, only 68 euros. 15 different stores, we finally found our bottle opener for Mont Saint Michel. Michel.
It is really very nice to walk through this town and you can really feel the history here. Although I have to say, even though it is really nice to walk around in here, it is so much more majestic to see it from the outside.
Time to leave this beautiful region of Normandy and head down south towards Bordeaux. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to
hit the like button
and if you want to see more,
subscribe,
and we'll see you all again
in the next one.
Au revoir.
Bye.